All right. Hey, what's up, guys? Dylan here. We got J Mac. We got Blake.
What's going on?
We're here just on the new series of this podcast series that I want to start called After the Game, Post Game. I don't know, something. We'll figure it out as we go along, but that's not really the point. But what the point is, getting together with some friends, with some buddies we're all post grad now. So we thought we can give some worthwhile advice, some good stuff that we've already been through for people who are either going through the same thing or maybe are still in high school, still young. Whatever the case may be, I think there's some good stuff that's applicable to life. There's some good stuff here, some good guys here. All right, so first off, hot mic, Josh, introduce yourself.
What's up? I'm Josh McAninch. I was a catcher 4 years in college. I played at Mount San Jacinto College and then at Biola University with Dylan and Blake. I love baseball. I love competing. I love the mental side. So I'm super excited to share some tidbits of information with you guys. Hope you guys get better.
My name is Blake Wentz. I played at Biola for 4 years, so all 4 years of college. Kind of had a weird setup coming into college. I wasn't part of the COVID class, so I was a true 4-year guy, and I didn't take any red shirts or any med reds or anything like that. So spent my 4 years at Biola and then graduated this past year with these guys.
All right, I'm gonna give both the mics to you guys, but first off, what is some advice that you would give for some younger guys or girls? We're all inclusive here. Imagine like you had a little brother who is in high school, who might be worried about like either recruiting or what college is really like, maybe stressing out about certain kind of things. Walk us through like your mindset in high school, and then like I'm actually here in college, and then now being done with college baseball. Share some light on that.
Yeah, I would say for me, like my advice for kind of my younger self, but also if I was going to talk to somebody else about just the whole recruiting process and in my time in college, I would say I would definitely spend less time worrying about things outside of my control, and I would spend more time on things that actually matter. So more so focusing on the work rather than the result, which is really hard to do, especially in high school when you can be stressed out about getting recruited and having coaches see you. But I just think if you show up every single day and you have a positive attitude and you control what you can, which is like the work and your attitude, then I think you're going to be in a good spot to go into any college program. And in my case, I think that I didn't want to go to Division II, but I think it was good for me at the time. And I think in hindsight, it was where I belonged. So I think everything works out for a reason, and wherever you get placed is where you should be. And that would be my advice on that front. But I would just spend less time worrying about the results and more about the work and the relationships, because now that I'm done, I feel like I was too worried sometimes about the results rather than just enjoying what the game was and making memories. And the results are obviously something you want to achieve, but sometimes it's outside of your control. So that would be my biggest advice for somebody who's in college or going to go to college, is just to enjoy the moment and just try to stare your feet at where your feet are at as much as possible, and really just enjoy the moment rather than worrying about the results. But it's easier said than done. But yeah, just have fun and work hard and make good memories, because it's going to go by quick.
Yeah, I completely agree with Blake. It's so important to just enjoy the work that you do and trust the process and not really focus too much on the results. That really is so important in enjoying baseball and just getting to where you want to be, because if you're so wrapped up in the results, you're just going to get eaten up, and it's going to be really, really tough to stay focused on what you're really doing in your process. But if I had to add one more thing, I mean, being a JUCO guy, I would say don't be so against going JUCO out of high school, especially if your university offers aren't looking so good. I had two D3 university offers, which doesn't have any scholarship money, and then I had two JUCO offers, and I had to kind of wear it a little bit and be like, all right, I'm going JUCO. But at the end of the day, it really was one of the better experiences I've ever had, and it really made me who I am today. It shaped me with the hard work and the long days out in the sun. Really just changed everything about my work ethic and how I go about playing baseball. And Um, yeah, and then just about playing the game, just have fun and enjoy it because you don't get to do it forever. I really started enjoying the game when I was a senior because, I knew it was my last season. And yeah, I wish I started enjoying the game a little bit earlier. And I suggest you guys do that as well. Very, very important to enjoy it as long as you can.
Yeah, to speak on that a little bit, that was good stuff, especially about enjoying the game, not being so worried, not being so caught up in like the title or the accolades or whatever. Like for me, I went to 5 universities, which is pretty crazy looking back on. But that just goes to show, like, don't be so worried about where you start because that may not be where you finish. Like, great if it does. If it's like one of Blake's situations where you end up staying at the same school for 4 years, like, what a blessing that is. But at the same time, like, that's so rare, especially in the current days where, like, you can just transfer after 1 year. Having gone to 5 different schools, like I said, it just goes to show you will end up exactly where you're supposed to be. Like I started out in Las Vegas and ended up at Biola. I still to this day, and for the rest of my life probably, will think about how that's the craziest like full circle moment to where God really meant for me to be at Biola for sure. And then the 3 junior colleges that I was at in between them humbled me for sure. Like starting off at a D1 and then going to 3 junior colleges, like I needed that humbling process. I also needed a variety of different things, but that just goes to show like your journey will be exactly what you need to help get you where you need to be. Back to what Josh was saying about being grateful for it and enjoying the game because it is a game and that you have a privilege to play it. I think about Chad Castillo, who was one of our assistant coaches at Biola this last year. Great guy. He went to CBU and then he got picked up to play for the Phillies for a little bit and played a little bit of indie ball. But I remember one of the conversations I had with him was like, dude, just enjoy it. Because like in the grand scheme of things, if you're stressing about a game, when you're done and you're like outside of the noise and it's all said and done, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, why was I so tripped up about a game? Like I should have just enjoyed it. I shouldn't have spent all those sleepless nights like worrying about my stats or where I was going to end up, anything like that. Like simply just enjoy having cleats on your feet, enjoy the opportunities that present themselves to you. One of the things that I really take to heart is you're going to have an infinite amount of opportunities and possibilities for a good life, like seriously. And that goes for anyone, whether you're a believer or not. Like believe for yourself that there are an infinite amount of possibilities for you to have a good life. But it's up to you to, kind of have that perspective and to take charge on that and to get up when you fall and to just keep going one foot after the next. So that kind of leads a little bit into the next question, which is in a game as noisy as baseball and as chaotic as baseball, when you're in it, it's crazy. You can think about so many different things. You can get caught up in overthinking about literally anything. But now that we're done with college baseball, we kind of have that outside perspective, like looking back, like we all just said, like, oh, it really wasn't that deep. I shouldn't have been worried that much. I should have just enjoyed it more, been more present. So to you guys, what's one thing that kind of helped you recenter while you were in the game, while you're still playing? What's one thing that helped you recenter to kind of block out that noise and to just get back into the moment, be where your feet are, enjoy the game, which helped you inevitably like play your best and freed you up to do that?
So for me, I guess when the game got a little bit hectic and there was a lot of noise, a lot of chirping, maybe a mistake happens and my head starts to spiral a little bit, I think about the countless hours of just the work that we did every single day. We practice Monday through Thursday. A lot of times you go early or stay after to do extra work. You prepare for 4 long days for those 4 games that you play on the weekend. You can just trust that preparation that you did and just treat the game as, just letting it all go and letting all that work take care of itself. And I think once you start to try to do too much and get outside of what you prepared yourself to do, that's when things start to get a little bit rocky and, you tense up. The biggest thing is I always noticed that when I was playing well, I was loose. And one way to get back to being loose was just taking a big deep breath and saying, Monday through Thursday, I worked for this moment. There's no need to worry. And yeah, that was the biggest thing that helped me just kind of recenter when things got a little bit spirally.
I definitely agree with Josh a ton about the work. I think if you know that you did everything you could during the week to be successful, on the weekend, on game day, I think that's a huge plus for having confidence on game day and shutting out noise. But something for me too is just being reminded of, despite the times that we're down, because throughout a 4-year career in college, like you're going to have moments where you're down and you're going through it, and everybody's going to go through that at some point. I think it's just being reminded of how you got through that moment, and that it's not going to last forever, that eventually you're going to get over that hurdle, over that hump. And I think that takes, some experience, obviously, and in the college game, but just remembering the bad times and using that to fuel you. So just taking negative stuff and finding a way to turn it positive, and just remembering that you eventually got through it and that you're going to get through it again. And then for me, and that goes for also too, like coming into a game, like you feel a little bit nervous, you feel the jitters, like use that to your advantage, and use that and being like, okay, good, I'm nervous because I care, and it's because I want to do good and everything like that. But there's been outings where I've been nervous and I've done super good. So when I go out to the mountain and I'm nervous, it's like, okay, good, I've been here before and I've done this before. So at the end of the day, I'm going to be okay. And just anchoring the breath, I think, is super important, like Josh talked about also. And for me, a big thing also was just like, despite the other team's chirping or it's a big situation to make a big pitch, it's like, all right, I'm just going to sit here and talk to myself and just talk myself through the situation and just rationalize to slow my heart rate down, slow the game down, because the situation isn't as big as you really think it is. I look back at some moments that I pitched in, and I was like, oh wow, it wasn't that big of a deal, and like, why was I tripping in that moment? So yeah, it just takes perspective, and you get that over time, but it's something you got to give yourself some grace also, and realize that the struggles is part of success, and not everything's going to be linear with anybody. Even if you're a professional athlete, it's never going to be linear, and you just got to ride that wave. And the guys that I've seen who are super successful in college, they're able to get over failure quicker than the guys who weren't able to get over failure. So not letting things compound and just continuing to move forward, knowing that you're going to get through it, is something that's helped me a lot throughout my career.
All right, so another thing about college is that it's not just your sport, whether it's baseball or whatever you get the opportunity to play. It's you got school, you got a social life, you got all these different other factors that go into it, that go into your college experience. So we want to tackle like what actually matters in that, what matters outside of baseball. For me, like I said, I transferred a bunch of times. The social life was huge because your community is a big part of who makes you and what helps you like enjoy where you're at. Like it literally makes up a big part of your environment, and the environment part is so huge for enjoying life of the college that you get to go to, as well as like who you get to play for. Like your teammates are a huge part of that. Your classmates are a huge part of that. And then the friends that you get to choose in college, like give me your 5 closest friends and I'll tell you who you're going to be, type of thing. So that's huge. Like pouring into those relationships is probably the biggest thing that I learned eventually. Like that is really what I should be pouring myself into, second most to baseball. Like once I'm done with the grind of the day and like getting my reps in for baseball, like I need to pour into those relationships. Obviously, like pour into yourself and the things you need to get done, but like those friends around you, man, like they last. Like the ones that you actually prioritize and you put quality effort into, like look at us. We're a couple of buddies chilling at the beach right now. Like give you a little view here. Yes. But it just goes to show like it matters. There's so much more that matters outside of the sport that you play, and the friendships and relationships that you get from a college experience. Nothing can replace that. So that's like the biggest takeaway for me, honestly.
Yeah, no, I could not agree more with what Dylan said. I mean, those relationships are so important. But my takeaway, I would say, I wish I took school a little bit more seriously. I majored in business, and although I did, get good grades and learn a lot, I wish that I understood the kind of environment that I was in, being at that kind of school, having that kind of opportunity to learn so much. it would have been really awesome to get a little bit more involved in the education and, get a little bit more experience in that field. But yeah, I think the biggest things are just time management. If you have good time management, then you'll be just fine in college. Go learn, make great friendships, go absolutely kill it in baseball and sports, and just go enjoy your time, manage your time well, and you're going to be just fine. It's a blast, really. It is.
It feel wrong to talk about college and not talk about the education. So Josh hit that like right on the money. For me, don't be tripping about like changing your major or anything like that, because I changed mine twice and ended up on my third one really like finding what I love. That's another thing that's great about college. You really find out what you love. You find out a lot about yourself. Um, so I ended up getting a major that I love, which is psychology, and I actually ended up loving going to class every day and loved what I learned about. And school didn't seem like a chore anymore. It seemed like something that I actually wanted to like better off for myself, and really like go all in for, which is great. And sure, that may not be the case for everybody, but I think that a lot of people get to school just for their sport. And that was definitely me, like going into it. If you ask senior high school me where like what I wanted to do for college, I would have said just baseball. Like that's it. I'm going to college for baseball. And I ended up loving school by the end of it. And now I'm going back to grad school, and I might even get my PhD, which if you talk to 18-year-old me, that would not be the case. So you never know. And then also it would feel a little bit wrong not talking about relationship with God first and foremost. Like that is the thing time and time again that showed to be the most important. When everything changes around you, like God is the one constant, and that relationship's going to be the one that's like the tightest and the closest forever. So that's something that I really took away from my college experience, was the depth of a relationship that I got with God. And it definitely changed me for the better. Like from freshman year me to senior year me, complete night and day shift, which is pretty insane. You could ask my family about that. Like that's a pretty night and day shift. But I'm gonna go ahead and let Blake talk here on this one.
Yeah, the social aspect is super huge, and I'm gonna go a little bit of a different direction. I know we're like all hanging out right now here, and I think that just is like a testimony as to like the great relationship that we're able to build through baseball. So I'm super blessed that like God was able to give us baseball, and on top of that, like we're gonna be friends, for life. So it's one of those things where a game could bring you, so many great friends, and I'd also use that and flip that also and say, just try to pay attention to like how you treat people and how you are as a teammate and how you are as a person and how you carry yourself. Because let's say you're having a really bad day, like the impression that you leave on other people matters so much. Because like I don't think we'd all be hanging out right now if one of us was a terrible guy. You know what I mean? So I would just say just try to be aware of that and just be a good teammate, be a good person, because those are relationships that are going to be built even far after baseball is done. And it's a huge thing. Also, too, with the people who aren't athletes on campus, I've talked to some people within the business program that I was in all the time, and those are people I'm going to stay in contact with. Those are people that are going to help me with my work. I'm going to help them with their work and their profession and their career. So just really try to build relationships and use college as an opportunity to grow close to other people, and you never know who's going to help you out, and vice versa. So yeah, I would just try to be aware of that stuff, because it's super important for not only the moment you're living in, but the future. So that's what I got on that.
I think one of the biggest things that was a struggle for me in college, like even in this last year, I was still fighting it off a little bit, was not getting too high or too low based on the results of the success or lack of success that I had in the season. You're only as stable as what you worship. So when you start worshiping the game and how good you are, how good of results you can get, how successful you can be, like that really takes a toll on you as a person, on your mental well-being as well as your emotional well-being. Like you start getting tied up in all the wrong things, so where suddenly you're not doing so well for a few weeks, and boom, you're a bad teammate, or you're not so nice to your family, or whatever it may be. Like your family doesn't deserve that. Like your teammates don't deserve that. You don't deserve that to be so stuck in your performance that when you're not doing so great, boom, everything else dips and takes a toll. That's one of the biggest traps that I fell in was even if it may seem like I didn't show it from time to time, like if I wasn't doing too great, then everything around me would go downhill too. And that's just because I put way too much of my identity in my performance. And not to say you shouldn't care about your results, because obviously, like, it's hard not to, and you should to some degree, but not to the point to where it takes the top spot on your priority list, to where it takes the totem pole of your life. Like I said, you're only as stable as what you worship. So when you're worshiping your performance and your results and your success for a game that's as unstable as baseball, to where like the greatest hitters of all time are succeeding 4 times out of 10, it's not stable at all. That success isn't always going to be there. The results aren't always going to look pretty. So being able to get outside of yourself in that regard and not being so tied up in what you think of yourself because of your success or lack thereof, thinking about what other people think of you because of your success or lack thereof. Like Blake said, he doesn't remember my stats. He doesn't remember Josh's stats. All he remembers is the kind of person that you were, the kind of person that showed up to the field or the classroom or every day, like that was a good teammate, a good friend to you. Like those are the things that matter, not, the results. Like the results are nothing compared to like the type of process oriented person that you could be. Like if you're a great person, like everyone's going to want you around. If you're a great player but a terrible teammate and a terrible friend, no one's going to want you around. Like sure, they'll want you in their lineup, but that's about it. They're not going to want you coming over to their house. They're not going to want to come to the beach with you on a Tuesday in the summer. Like like those are the things that matter. Like sure, get your stats up, but not for the sake of your ability to be a good person, to be a good teammate, to be good at life. Another thing I want to talk about is like, how did your mindset evolve throughout the years? Like from high school to freshman year in college to now being done with college. Like what about you changed? How did your mindset evolve? Like mindset matters. Like we got to talk about it at some point. So anybody want to start off with that? Blake?
Yeah, I would definitely say my mindset changed a ton over my time in college, and I think that had a lot to do with my faith. Prior to coming to Biola, I wasn't a Christian. I was somebody who believed in God, but I wasn't somebody who was actively living out a godly lifestyle. And I think it was a reason for me coming to Biola, and I think that was from God. Like I said, I didn't want to go to Division II, and I necessarily didn't want to go to Biola, but I know that was part of God's plan, and I think God really showed me that I had to be beaten down to kind of be raised back up. And I had a great experience between my sophomore and my junior year when I went and played summer ball in Xenia, Ohio for like a ministry team out in the Great Lakes, Collegiate Summer Ball League. And that was a huge moment for me because I struggled the year before, and I think I started to learn more about myself and more about God. And I started to kind of just give up the results to God and started to really just put everything in His hands. And that's when I noticed that I was more free and that I was less focused on myself. I became more focused on my teammates, and I became more focused on life outside of baseball rather than making the results the end-all be-all. So for me, that was something that was huge for me and something that I'm going to try to carry with me into life and, try to carry that onto my future family for sure, because I think it's a great quality to have to like the game and to love the game, but to not make the game your identity and entirely who you are. One great quote that one of our ministry people had over at that summer ball team was, it's what I do, it's not who I am. And I've tried to carry that mindset my last 2 years of college, and I'm also going to try to carry that into life as well. But it was a great lesson for me to learn. And like I said, I think everything happened for a reason. So I'm super thankful to, spend time at Biola and be able to learn that throughout my college career.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to have the privilege to learn a lot under a great head coach for my junior and senior year of high school. So I learned a lot about the game, but still, I saw it as a fun game. and I enjoyed it a lot. And I was, really looking forward to playing at the next level. Um, and in high school, I was really good, and I thought it was going to be, you know, not too big of a jump going into junior college, but I had a little bit of a wake up call coming in. I realized that how much of a difference the next level really is, and it took me a little bit to kind of, um, I guess, find my place. Took me maybe a couple weeks to just really get used to the new style of baseball and just playing for a catching coach, Ricky Gingras, who really, you know, wanted the best for us, but got it out of us in a really, demanding way. And once I adjusted to that, everything kind of took off. I really took pride in every rep that I did. Every rep that I took. Conditioning, started to become a little bit more bearable because I knew I was doing it for a reason, and that was development. And so I guess the junior college level really shaped my mindset into loving the process of development and getting better. And yeah, throughout my freshman and sophomore year, I really fell in love with that process. And then so when I got to Biola, I was able to really, hone in everything that I had and built up over high school and junior college, and just kind of let it all go and play and have fun and play free. And it was a really incredible experience, and I'm super happy with the coaches and the teammates that I had throughout the journey. It was very, very special and it was a very good experience.
I think there were a lot of things that changed about me definitely from high school, and definitely from my first couple of years bouncing around, UNLV and a couple of JUCOs before I got to Biola. There was a lot of work that went on. When I was a senior in high school and I had committed D1, like, there wasn't a thing you could tell me that, would make me think differently of myself. Even though I thought I was coachable, I was not coachable. Even though I thought I was a great teammate, I was only a good teammate if I was doing well. And I was just I was very selfish, and I honestly think it was a place of insecurity, of always wanting to prove myself to everyone else, of always I had a massive chip on my shoulder for the longest time, and it took a long time for me to finally let go of that chip that made me feel the need to always prove myself. But then that started to God started chipping away at the chip. Throughout the first few years. Like I said, I got humbled throughout the first few years of my college experience, getting hurt my freshman year, taking the game away from me completely for 2 years. That'll help you find your identity outside of baseball for sure when you can't play it. So it was a blessing in disguise, and now looking back at it, I'm super thankful for it, because it taught me what's really important in life and the purpose of life outside of your sport. So I'm blessed to have figured that out sooner than later. And then when the game finally did come back into my life, and I was blessed to play at Chafee, I started to just enjoy the game. I started to see the game as a game, enjoy it, and then pair that on with the mental hurdles that I had to get through my first few years of college, with it being taken away from me, and with performance anxiety and all those different kinds of things. Like Josh said, when I got to Biola my junior and senior year, everything kind of started to get put together a little bit. That selfishness was gone. I saw the game as a game. I enjoyed it. I felt I could show up to the field and, give to everyone else, whether it be, advice, my time, effort, mechanical things, whatever it may be. I saw the game as an opportunity to pour into other people's lives, not just to take for myself. And I think that was the biggest thing that changed. So yeah, thanks for following along. Thanks for listening to myself and Josh and Blake. Take it for what it's worth. We've been there before. Crazy that we can say that now. But like I said, thanks for listening. Thanks for following along. I'm happy to get the ball rolling on this new kind of series for Mindset Matters, and I'm excited to see where it goes.